All right, can you guys see my screen okay?
I can.
All right, perfect. So this is the dashboard of BigShort. This is the first thing that you'll see when you guys log in. And here at the top, we have our top 10 lists. These just show all the top 10 SmartFlow manipulation and Net Option Flow Accumulation tickers for the day. And they do update dynamically as we get new data in. One feature I like to point out when it comes to these top 10 lists is that if for some reason you have a bullish or bearish bias for the day, you can always switch these top 10 lists to be positive or negative, depending on that bias. And again, these will all be updating in real time. So I'm predominantly a SPY trader, but I know that a lot of our users who like to trade other tickers, they like to use these top 10 lists so they can see where the action is happening at any given moment. So any questions on our top 10 list before I move on to our SmartFlow chart?
What would be on each of those numbers that you're seeing? Um, like if we saw a NOFA that's really high, is there a NOFA that we should really pay attention to, or is that so it's like SPY NOFA minus 7 million?
Yeah, oh, you mean like this indicator level?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's sort of particular to every ticker because every ticker has different options volume. So what
It's in dollars, so I imagine it would be relative to. Oh, Shahab is recording. Okay. Anyways, it's in dollars, so I imagine it would be relative to the liquidity and the market cap for that particular stock.
Oh, okay. Oh, so if you went back to that and you saw something like a low market cap, like let's say,
Well,
um,
GME is a $10 billion market cap, and the indicator is negative 26 million. So that's $26 million on the put side, or not the put side, but on the bearish side for the options.
mhm.
Yeah, and one thing I like to do is also look at the like the hourly chart and the daily chart to see if that level is meaningful on a historical scale. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there, well, I guess it depends, right? So if you saw like 100 million NOFA on a $1 billion stock, you you want to see what you want to investigate, like, right? Is that
Sure, yeah, that's
Yeah.
10% of the market cap. So if 10% of the market cap of a particular stock is 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 being is being put into bearish bets in a single day or a single moment, then that's pretty significant, yeah.
well, okay, so here's my question. When should we go to the dashboard and look for something actionable that really, really sticks out?
You know, I'm a little bit different from other people in that I don't really use the dashboard. Like my whole like idea generation process is it occurs outside of trading hours. Um, I know other people aren't like this. Other people they just wake up in the morning and they look at, you know, the dashboard and they might pick something out from there. And I know Political Nightmare in particular has it says confirm your speaking language. No, I'm not speaking in Arabic. I'm speaking in English. Okay. Anyways, so yeah. But yeah, Political Nightmares has gotten some success with that. But me personally, I just like to stick to what I know. And so I mostly just trade stocks that I know. That would include GME, by the way. So if I see something familiar on the top 10, maybe I'll click it. But generally I tend to get my ideas more from like what the themes are from a non-quantitative basis, like in the news or in the earnings or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not an expert at the dashboard. There's a lot of things on this side I don't use. For example, I never click OptionFlow.
Me
And
neither.
yeah, I don't even really click UltraFlow. I never click SF segregated. But But yeah. All right. I guess Sarah, continue now.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, so those are our top 10 lists. And now I'll be going into the SmartFlow chart. So SmartFlow is, you know, the bread and butter here at BigShort. I'll spend probably 98% of my time when I'm using BigShort on this screen. And I'm just going to go over everything from top to bottom and go pane by pane and talk about our indicators and what they mean and how I like to read them. And then once I go through them all, I'll explain the kind of setups that I like to look for in entering and exiting my positions. So right now we default to SPY, but we have tickers for you know, everything in the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. We also have really performant 5-minute charts. While we were doing our product dev, it was
NYSE and NASDAQ. So it's
NYSE.
it's every stock ticker symbol other than OTC.
Yeah, exactly. So we have really performant 5-minute charts for all the tickers that we provide. We thought it was really important to have performant 5-minute charts because being able to go back and visually backtest your strategies is so important as a day trader. And we noticed that for a lot of other charting services, the historical 5-minute charts were not performant. So let's say I want to go to a Tesla chart from back in like, I don't know, 2020 in February. And you guys saw how quickly that loaded. So performance was definitely top of mind when we were developing our charts. But let me go back to today. So I get a lot of questions about what these gears mean. This is just the gear for SmartFlow manipulation and manipulation tally. And what they tell you is whether or not the current second is more bullish or more bearish compared to the previous second. So if the current second is more bullish compared to the previous second, this gear will turn green. And if it's more bearish compared to the previous second, this gear will turn red. And so I don't need this level of granularity, you know, second by second while I'm trading. So I don't really look at these gears that often unless it's a fast moving market environment like an FOMC, if I've decided to trade that. Otherwise, I don't use these that often, but, you know, some of our very fast scalper traders like this feature. Yeah, and so, you know, we have charts on different time frames. We have the 5-minute, the hourly, and the daily. And when I'm trading, I like to have this option details pane open. And this will just show all the unusual option flow that comes in for that given ticker in real time. And by unusual options flow, I mean your blocks, your sweeps, and your splits. And another thing that this pane is great for is if we have a golden sweep or a bronze sweep, depending on your screen settings, you know, some users have trouble differentiating between a golden sweep or a bronze sweep. So I just went back on a chart that has all three, but these here are bronze sweeps and these are golden sweeps. Bronze sweeps are large volume, high premium option sweeps that our algo has identified as bearish. And golden sweeps are large volume, high premium sweeps that our algo has identified as bullish. And gray sweeps are large volume, high premium option sweeps that our algo has identified as neither bearish nor bullish, but we still show them on our chart. And for our users who have trouble differentiating between the two, you can always just look at the option details pane and you'll be able to see, okay, like here, for example, this was a bronze sweep. This was actually a double bronze sweep and it came in at 933, 16 and 19. And you can tell by the little red bear and the fact that it says bronze, that it's a bronze sweep. And these sweeps here, you can just refer over here and you could see, okay, it has a little green bull and it says golden. So just to reference, you know, throughout the day, I find it helpful to have this option details pane open. Another thing I like to have open is this chart tooltip. And this just shows all the current values of SmartFlow, manipulation, Net Option Flow. live when the market is open, you'll see all of these updating in real time. And this is just helpful to have open so that you don't have to constantly mouse over to see what those current values for the different indicators are and how they're changing. And it's also resizable and pinnable. So I like to pin it like right around here, but I know some of our users like to have it around here, but super helpful to have this open as well. And in the chart settings, I recommend just checking this recommended settings box if you're a new user, and it'll just set the charts to the way that we recommend our users, use our charts. But you can always toggle things on and off, and you can choose to have the Bollinger Bands on and off as well. So when I'm trading, I like to use opening range theory in my trading. Have you guys heard of that? I'm sure some of you guys have. But for those of you who haven't, I'll just quickly go over it. So I like to see what is the range of the first hour of trading. And then I like to wait to see whether or not we get a clear and sustained breakout, either to the upside or the downside. And if we get a breakout to the upside, then I know, okay, it's an uptrend day. And by clear and sustained, I like to see like multiple legs up or multiple legs down if it's a downtrend day. And if it stays within this range, then I know, okay, it's a range day. And once the trend of the day has been established, I try not to trade against that trend. And the way that I keep track of what the opening range is by drawing in these lines. So I drew in those lines just by clicking this button here, and then just clicking and dragging my lines. So any questions so far before I start getting into the chart?
On TradeView, is it possible to have those lines automatically drawn every trading day? Is there a function for that?
There's no function for that yet. I just manually draw those lines in.
Oh, I meant on like any. I'm sure there has to be.
Oh, like on like TradingView. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There
Okay.
probably is, but yeah, I'm not sure myself. Any other questions? Okay, great. So starting here at the top, this is our candlestick pane. And this shows, just the normal like price and time candlestick charts that you would see on any brokerage or trading platform. The thing that makes our candlestick pane unique is that we display dark pool prints directly on our charts so that you can easily spot support and resistance levels. So I found that when I see a cluster of dark pool prints around the same price range above the current price, that tends to act as price resistance. Let me see if I can find a good example. Here we go. So as you can see here, we had a cluster of dark pool prints that came out right around this price range, and it did act as good price resistance. And conversely, if I see multiple dark pool prints below the current price that are, clustered in the same price range, that tends to act as good price support. So as you can see, the support was pretty good. And if you hover over the dark pool print in the upper left-hand corner, you'll be able to see the time, price, and volume for that dark pool print. And we also display our dark pool prints in different sizes, depending on the volume of the dark pool print. So as you can see, these sort of smaller ones are, like this one's 374,000. This one's 358,000. But we have this one large one here. And when I hover over that, we can see the volume of this one is 13 million. So it's much larger than these. And we visualize it much more large on the chart. So Any questions on dark pool prints before I move on to SmartFlow?
Sometimes those are delayed and sometimes they're not.
Yeah, I would say that we show them live as they come in, but due to the like nature of dark pool prints, they're sometimes reported later than they actually transacted.
Right. And so if you see one like above or below, I guess so there's really just no way to know like if it happened today or a previous day, I guess.
Oh,
Unless
well,
the price is so different.
maybe Tay can clarify this, but I believe that they're from today. It's just the delay of a dark pool print is I think can be as long as like what 15 minutes, Tay?
Hi, I don't know, who the fuck knows? But it's predictive.
Well, there you go.
Okay, I mean if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, then there's the fuckery where they can execute it overseas in Europe or something, and then they can delay it like up to a day even. But it doesn't matter. What matters is, what matters is they're the real bid in the ask for the big money. So if they're above, then the price goes down, and then if they're below, then the price goes up. Easy.
And one thing about dark pool prints is you'll see a lot of them coming in within the candle. Um, and I tend to just disregard those. It's only the dark pool prints that come in either above or below the current price that I take as support or resistance. And if I see like just one dark pool print on its own, I tend to disregard that too. It's only when there's like multiple that are clustered or, a couple big ones. But yeah, thanks for the
And
question.
a lot of the dark pools are not delayed. So don't go thinking that all the dark pools you see are delayed. Some of them are real time, instantaneous.
Yeah, exactly.
Sarah, I just sent you like a little cheat sheet that I made. Can you take a look at that?
Okay, sure. I need to request access. So in the meantime, does anyone else have any other questions about, anything that we've covered so far? No? If your mics aren't working too, you can type out the question and I can read them. Shahab says no. Okay, I'm still waiting to get access to that
Yep, I just sent
sheet.
it to you.
Okay. Okay. All right, I see it. Yeah, oh, it looks like you're talking about SmartFlow
Yeah,
on here.
so the candles and when they're up or down, just
Yeah. So
you know,
let me cover that next, actually. That's a perfect segue. So let me just jump to a day that has good SmartFlow with that divergence we look for. So thank you, Bobby, for the the transition. So next I'm going to talk about SmartFlow. SmartFlow divides the market into two groups, smart money and Momo. And smart money is like the institutions, but they can also be thought of as the mean reverting force in the market. And Momo is like a proxy for retail, but it can also be thought of as the momentum force in the market. And when it comes to SmartFlow, I tend to look more at the lines rather than the individual bars. So this green line is smart tally, which is the aggregate of smart flow throughout the day. And this red line is Momo tally, which is the aggregate of Momo throughout the day. Now for SPY, because again, I'm mostly a SPY trader. SPY is a smart money controlled ticker for the most part, although there are times when Momo takes over. Like sometimes Monday mornings are a time when Momo takes over. But for the most part, SPY is smart controlled. And so what I look for when I'm looking at SmartFlow is I'm looking for a divergence between these two lines. So here, for example, we see this green line moving down while this red line is moving up. And again, for SPY, because it's smart money controlled, I like to follow the direction of smart money when I am looking at SmartFlow. So when I see this divergence, I am following the direction of smart. And as you can see here, we had this bearish divergence with this green line moving down and this red line moving up. And we did see a corresponding drop in price. And so while I like to look at the lines more than the bars also show good granularity into who's driving price movement for a given 5-minute bar. So I'm just zooming in here so you guys can see it a little better. But as you can see, we have these green lines or these green bars and these red bars. This green bar means that smart money is buying while Momo is selling. And this red bar means that smart money is selling while Momo is buying. And if you take a look at this this candle that I'm hovering over here, or this bar that I'm hovering over, you can see that there's this corresponding sort of shadow bar that's pointing up. That shadow bar is showing how much Momo is buying while Smart is selling. And so I like to see these big shadow bars when it comes to these green and red bars, because again, I like when Smart and Momo are on as opposite sides of the trade as possible. And the other bars here are these pink and light green bars. Pink just means that Smart and Momo are both selling together, and light green means that Smart and Momo are both buying together. And if you look at this light green bar that I'm hovering over, you can see that like 60% of it is teal or is light green, and then the rest is that shadow. So the shadow is how much Momo is buying, and the light green part is how much Smart is buying. So on this bar, for example, it's like 60% Smart buying and 40% Momo buying. And here
So, wait,
again,
shadow represents Momo.
exactly.
Okay. I'm making Sarah, I'm making a cheat sheet for everyone, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah.
So I'm gonna type this up and I'll share it with everyone.
Okay, cool. And so as you can see, like this bar here that I'm hovering over, there's like a little sliver of pink and the rest is shadow. So for this bar, it was like, I don't know, 10% Smart selling and 90% Momo selling. So yeah, that's how I like to read SmartFlow for SPY. But you know, every ticker is different, and you know, some tickers are Momo controlled, some are Smart controlled. So when it comes to trading individual tickers, I highly recommend going back and looking at those historical 5-minute charts, and you know, determining whether or not that ticker is, you know, Smart controlled or Momo controlled. But yeah, that is SmartFlow. Any questions on SmartFlow before I move down to manipulation?
So the red candle means Smart is selling,
Mm-hmm.
and the green candle means Smart is buying,
Yes.
volume wise.
Yes.
Okay. And then pink is okay, yeah, I got you. And then
Yeah.
so the shadow is always represented by Momo?
The shadow is always Momo. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, got you.
Yeah. And I know that this is a lot of information for one pane. So for our newer users, we did create this SmartFlow segregated view. This shows the exact same data as we were looking at here on this pane, but it just pulls them apart so that Smart and Smart Tally are at the top, and Momo Tally are at the bottom. So just while you're getting yourself onboarded, it might be helpful to look at this screen, but I just tend to look at the SmartFlow chart because it has all of the different indicators. Okay, great. So if there are no more questions, I'll move on to the manipulation pane, if you guys are good with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So this is the manipulation pane, and I call this our market maker tracking pane. Market makers play a huge role in the market, but they're very little discussed or tracked. And, you know, the official role of market makers as designated by the SEC is to provide liquidity to the market. And so they're allowed to be simultaneously both buyers and sellers of a given instrument. Whereas if you or I tried to simultaneously buy and sell a stock like SPY, our account would get flagged. We would get banned from trading, and they would say, hey, what you're doing is illegal. You're trying to manipulate the prices. But market makers have sort of carte blanche to do this. And obviously, if you're allowed to be, you know, both the buyer and seller of a given instrument, the incentive is to buy low and sell high. And we know that market makers are very, very good at this because market maker firms regularly make billions of dollars a year in profits. And it doesn't matter whether it's a bull market or a bear market, they are making billions of dollars very regularly every single year. Whereas the average day trader, you know, 90 to 95% of them lose money year after year. So you can kind of, you know, extrapolate the direction that money is flowing. And so any insight that you can get into market maker sentiment and positioning is really helpful. And so this is our manipulation indicator, and it is an inverse indicator, meaning that when it's positive, that is bearish, and when it's negative, that is bullish. And when it comes to manipulation, you know, it's one of our trickier indicators, I think, to follow. So I say to always look out for two things. One is that the value of manipulation matters a lot. And so for SPY, like on a regular humdrum day, I like to see a manipulation value of ±3. And so in my sound alerts, I have my manipulation sound alert set for a standard deviation of 3. And you can always click on the speaker icon, by the way, if you want to ever change your sound alerts or see what all the different sound alerts are for and turn them on or off. You could just hit this little speaker here. But I like to be alerted if there is a manipulation value of ±3. And then I'll look into the chart and I'll see if I see confluence in the indicators, meaning, okay, manipulation is bearish, but what does the rest of the chart look like? And the second thing to always keep in mind when it comes to manipulation is that it works best in high volatility, high volume trading environments. And a good example of this would be like an FOMC for SPY. For individual tickers, it would be, you know, something like earnings. But let me just go back to an FOMC day. So this was an FOMC that I did end up trading, and this is the 11 a.m. PST candle. So that is when the interest rate decision comes out. And the reason that the FOMC is a perfect time to trade is there's so much uncertainty in the market about, one, what the interest rate decision is going to be, and two, what the market reaction to that decision is going to be. And so there are a lot of eyes on the market, you know, waiting for this data to come out. And so on this day, we ended up getting a bullish manipulation here. And it's not even that big. It's only negative 0.87. But because I knew that manipulation works best in these sort of, high volatility environments during FOMC, I still decided to go long here, because it was still the biggest manipulation of the day. And so I ended up, I think this candle came out, this signal came out early in the candle. And so I ended up chasing my entry into calls to here or so. And I remember thinking, like maybe I chased that too much because we're already at the highs of the day. But I noticed that manipulation was growing more bullish as price was going up. And so I decided to give it until the end of the candle before I exited. And so I exited right around here. And there was another FOMC, previous FOMC here. This was one that I actually was able to convince Tay to live trade. So we were on Zoom together. And when we had this bullish manipulation, it's very bullish, negative 4.84. We all went into calls. And as you can see, it played out quite quickly. And the reason that manipulation works best in these environments is because in those sort of high volatility, high trading volume environments, there are a lot of shares changing hands, much more than the average volume. And so market makers are able to push price in the direction that they want to much more quickly. So yeah, so that is manipulation. Anything you want to add, Tay, about manipulation? Nope. So any questions on manipulation?
So for the orange bar manipulation, positive means bearish, negative means bullish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tool used by market makers to stall for time to reposition?
I wouldn't say, I mean, I guess you can think of it as a tool used by market makers, but it's more like, the direction that market makers are trying to push price. So if they're trying to push price down and suppress the real price, then that one stands to reason that that means that they are trying to accumulate their position. Whereas if they're trying to push price up, that means that
And
they're
where people
selling
get
their position.
where people get caught off sides is sometimes the market makers are on the right side of the trade already. Sometimes they're on the wrong side of the trade, sometimes they're on the right side of the trade. So the degree to which they push things in the right direction or the wrong direction, it's dependent on their existing positioning as well. Anyways,
So,
as I always say to the newbies, don't use manipulation. Just use NOF. And if I was giving this walkthrough, it would be a 5-minute walkthrough.
I
would just
know.
I would just click.
You'd skip it over, but
I'd skip everything.
people want to know what it means and what it does.
well,
No,
yeah, but
they
look
don't.
at that. Well, yeah, dude, yeah, I do. Look at that trade.
No,
464
you
to
want to know because
470.
You want to know because this is like your third walkthrough. But like for these new people, they're just gonna get confused if you overload them with information. So I just want to be like, hey, just look at this. When this happens, do this. That's it. Done.
Oh, true. True. But look at that though. That would have netted you 6 points. About.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I mean, that's a phenomenal.
Lunar Soda asked, what is manipulation measuring? And does it have to do with why it's displayed as an inverse relationship?
Yep, it's a common question. Well, so as Sarah said, manipulation is the direction in which market makers are trying to push the price. So when they push it down, they it means that they're trying to buy. So in this situation, like in situations where there's an unexpected event, then they smell the direction of the wind, and then they try to trick everyone else into thinking the wind's going the opposite direction. and then they take the trade.
So what exactly is mechanically happening though? So they see the future, so they dump shares. How are they mechanically manipulating?
Well, that's kind of bordering on me explaining the proprietary detection signal.
Okay.
But I've explained it in a previous walkthrough that you're in, and I'll explain it for everybody else, which is that basically the prices you see on candlestick charts are oftentimes fake prices because and the reason for that is in a perfectly efficient market, everyone who is participating in the market for that good or service or financial asset is participating simultaneously. But in the stock market, not everyone is participating all at once. And I use the example of the clay pot seller at the Aladdin Bazaar who has an inventory of 100 pots, and he has an inventory of 100 pots, and let's say the population has a a certain demand level, a certain desire to purchase those pots, and the equilibrium between the supply and demand, according to Economics 101, is the price at which those pots will be sold. But if if the pot seller instead just sold one pot to his cousin for $100 more than the prevailing the actual real value of the pot, then on a candlestick chart, that price is still posted as having occurred at $100, even though that's nowhere near the equilibrium market value of the pot. It's not the equilibrium between the supply and demand for the pot. It's just a price, and this is how price is only a proxy for supply and demand, and it is at times often a very poor proxy for supply and demand. And that is why oftentimes prices are fake and prices can very easily be manipulated. And when I talk about how not all market participants participate in the market at any one given time, what I mean by that is, like, let's say that in the city, there's 100 people that want to buy a new pot today, and there's 100 pots in the inventory storeroom in the basement of the pot seller's stall. So in a perfect world, all 100 people would show up to the stall and buy 100 pots from the store owner, all at the same price, and everyone would be happy and everyone would get a fair deal. But in actuality, these 100 people who want to buy the pots, they all come at different times during the day because they wake up at different times. And there's a guy that works a graveyard shift at his job. There's a guy that needs to drop off his kids at school and stuff before coming and buying a pot. A lot of different things. So in that time between pot sales, there's nobody at the stall. And in those times at the stall owner can post whatever price he wants because there's nobody in line. Or maybe there's just one person that shows up. He doesn't like that person. He's like, I'm gonna gouge this person. I'm gonna rip him off and charge him like 20 bucks a pot when it should be 10 bucks a pot. And it's just the same thing for stocks. I'm done with my explanation. Is that sufficient?
Yes, thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
Have you made any observations about manipulation tally as a crossover signal from bearish to bullish or vice versa, an entry or exit or a prediction or that time interval trend? Perhaps there is a manipulation bar that is bearish. The manipulation trend is bullish, might signal a dip rather than a downtrend. I don't really use manipulation tally, but it does kind of, the reason it exists, it kind of helps you see like the general trend of the manipulation bars. Like for example here, like you'd have to look really closely after the big bar to know that it went progressively more bullish for a while and then it flattened out after the red. You can't really tell from like squinting your eyes, and so that's why the tally exists, just so you can better visualize it.
And this white line is the tally.
Yeah. And Let me see if I answered the question. Observations about manipulation tally.
Oh, I did not know the tally was a continuation.
All the tallies are continuations. The green,
Mhm.
the red, the light blue manipulation line, and the
NOFA.
and the
Which,
NOFA.
yeah.
They're all do the same calculation, which is that they accumulate the temporal value
So
over time.
manipulation is still in play. You have to assume throughout the day, right? Is that
Um, I mean, like there's little. I mean, a lot of times it's just flat, so there's a lot of times it's just noise. But
okay?
like, sure, technically, like throughout the day, market makers will test prices and see what sticks, see where the strength is sometimes. But it's not a major or prevailing factor for influencing future prices. And we are concerned with making money rather than the philosophical underpinnings of how markets work, of which I will write a book. I've decided that I'm going to write that book and sell it on Amazon. And I expect 5-star reviews from all of you.
For sure. I'll get a signed copy.
Just as soon as we make our first million with Big Short, we'll be happy to do it then.
Deal. Cool. Oh, look at price discovery for today, Tay.
Oh yeah, today was a fucking weird ass day.
Whoa,
So
that
Yeah.
is
what is
And
yeah.
odd.
check out that manipulation spike.
Yeah, this
Right at
was,
the top there. You see?
yeah.
So the market makers are manipulating the price higher, and what do you know? They dump it right after. But again, like I said, if you're new, if this is your first walkthrough, please do not sign up for Big Short and follow
Ignore.
every manipulation spike signal. There are so many easier signals that we provide that
Yeah.
will allow you to make easy money, and there's no need to like drive a race car. You could just drive a Toyota Prius and you could still make money with your Uber. But if you drive the race car, you have to place first in the race if you want to make a living out of it.
Mm. I don't know what to make of this price discovery. I've never seen it look like this for SPY.
Yeah, I think it might be due to all the GME stuff. Like I think it sort of speaks to sort of the plumbing of the market kind of falling apart today
Hmm.
because like the market makers are I think allocating resources to GME
Huh.
and so they don't have as much control over SPY. In fact, I think it's kind of evident in the shape of the SPY chart today. It's just like all over the place.
Yeah, it was a super choppy day.
Yeah.
But I was about to cover price discovery.
Go to any other
But
day.
yeah, I'll just
Every
go
other day
to,
we'll have it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So normally, price discovery looks like this. It's this purple line here. And while we were doing product dev, we noticed that every day, at least other than today, every day, starting at around the same time for about the same length of time, we would see this burst of HFT activity um, on SPY. And so we decided to chart it for our users. And so that's what this sort of purple hill is. And if you guys go back, you'll see that it almost always looks like like this. And we believe this is the time of day when market makers are finding price. And so the way that I use this is pretty simplistic. Um, I told you guys before that I like to look at the range of the first hour of trading, and then I wait to see whether or not we get a clear and sustained breakout either above or below that range. But the way that I use price discovery is if for some reason, because this hill tends to occur in the first hour of trading, but if for some reason it happens to be that it lasts a bit longer, then I would just include all of the candles that occur within, like during this hill. So let's say, for example, this hill ended a little bit later and included this red candle. Then I would just move this line down to include all the candles that occurred during this hill. And that's my uh, calculation for what the opening range is. But again, today was very different. I've never seen that before, but I guess Tay's explanation makes sense. But yeah, that is the manipulation pane. So any questions on manipulation pane before I get to our favorite indicator, net option flow? Oh, Lunar Soda said yesterday SPY was trading at lowest volume in about 15 years, according to a post by bar chart. Shop said, show us the easy signals, please. It's coming up next. I think I heard Bobby, was that you talking? Sorry if I
Yeah,
interrupted you.
so for the purple line, price discovery, what can we assume is happening there? They're trying to find probable ranges. Is that what's happening?
Tay?
Oh, we have no fucking clue.
You have no idea what that purple line is?
Not even the slightest clue. I mean, like I probably have more of a clue than you, but all it is it's this weird thing that happens every day, and it only goes in one direction at that time of the day. I mean, there's times when it goes negative too, but every morning it always has that same thing going on.
So then
So
what calculation, like, is it velocity and volume? I guess I'm just, or if you can't talk about it, then
I can't talk about it, but I mean, there's no way that anyone's ever thought of that kind of stuff. Like TradingView doesn't even have that data available to make those calculations. So
yeah, okay. So it's just a mystery. I guess I don't know then.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
I guess
mystery.
so.
Yeah, I mean, we have some, or I've gone through walkthroughs with people who, have their own theories for, what the price discovery hill is and what it means. If you guys are familiar with like ICT trading,
Yeah.
people say that that's, that there's a theory about the New York kill zone, and they said, "Oh my God, that's the New York kill zone." Like you guys charted it out, and he was super excited. But I
Wait,
don't
what do
know.
you mean?
I don't
Or
know.
well, I guess
Well,
I'll
I
look
don't know
that up
too much
later.
about it myself. I was
Okay.
just like, oh, okay, cool.
So, okay, so what, wait, can you answer this? What data is possibly being compared in that purple line?
What data is being compared?
Well, yeah, so
I
you
don't.
have a software that's taking data from your source and it's making this purple line. Or is this purple line from a data source?
Yeah, of course. But yeah, the thing is that everybody else, they just use price and volume and all that lame stuff. And we use all this other stuff, this proprietary stuff, and our stuff is the good stuff.
It certainly
That's a
is.
lot of data. We'll say that
I
we
mean,
have way
it
more
certainly
data
is.
than the other users or the other platforms out there.
Okay, well that I'm good on that. So that was pretty, at least it gave me some kind of idea. At least I feel better. If you don't know what it is, then I don't need to know what it is. I guess that's all I needed to know.
Bobby, did you take everything apart when you were a kid and examine every piece?
I still do.
Yeah, but
I've never,
if you guys go on the Discord, and of course I think most of you already are, but if you're not, I highly recommend joining the members only channels on here. If you look up like price discovery, you'll be able to see some of our like, user theories for, what that hill means and how they use it. There's a few different theories out there. We haven't had time to backtest any of these, but it's an interesting read.
I think I put that price discovery purple line there for people like Bobby, because I don't really know what it is, but I mean, like, imagine you're me and you're building Big Short, and building Big Short is kind of like robbing a bank. And so I'm robbing a bank and I go into the bank vault and I see all this cash and all these gold coins and shit. And then on this like pedestal by itself, I see like this glowing, floating purple orange orb gem thing. And I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck this is. I don't know what the value of this is, but I'm sure our users would care to know that this is here. So that's why we just decided to chart MM's price discovery. I don't know what it is, but I know it sure as hell looks weird that every single morning, except I guess on days like today where GME is taking over the market, every single morning it's like this same pattern thing. So it's got to be something. I just don't know what it is.
Well, wouldn't it mean the more structured it is, well, is there has to be a correlation if it's messy, that means the script, or I don't know, seems like a script then to show for the rest of the day.
Go find the correlation for us, Bobby, so we can all just.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah has to go to the airport in 30 minutes, and we want some time at the end for questions. So let's let her finish the NOF. We got to get to the easy indicators, right, guys?
100%.
Yeah, we do. We should get to the easy indicators because that's the most useful for new users. So yeah, so speaking of NOF, this is our option flow pane, and Net Option Flow, or NOF, is our newest beta product. I'll quickly go over, how it's different from normal option flow.
Can I just do NOF? Okay.
Sure,
So
yeah, you do it.
So you guys see the purple hills pointing up? That is the amount of dollars going into buying puts. Okay? And you see those blue hills pointing up? Those are the amount of dollars going into buying calls. If you don't know what a put or a call is, then I guess you need to cancel your BigShort subscription. But on the blue hills pointing down, those are the amount of dollars going into calls being sold at that particular moment in time. In fact, if you look at so we draw that handy vertical line at the top, you see after the calls were sold and simultaneously the puts were bought, then the price went down for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And that's all it is. It's
so
easy as
hold on.
1, 2, 3.
Hold on.
Okay.
So yeah, the blue is calls and purple is puts. And the thing that makes Net Option Flow different is that, one, we differentiate between buys and sells. So buys point up and sells point down. And so when calls are being bought, meaning this blue hill is pointing up, that's bullish. When puts are being sold, meaning there's a purple hill pointing down, that's also bullish. And when puts are being bought, meaning this purple hill pointing up, that's bearish. And when calls are being sold, meaning this blue hill pointing down, that is also bearish. And so as you can see, like here, Net Option Flow was bullish and we went up. Here, Net Option Flow was bearish and we went down for a bit. Here again, we got a bearish shape, went down. Here, this is bearish, we went down. Here, this is bullish, so we went up a little bit. But yeah, for Net Option Flow, again, the two ways it's different is that we differentiate between buys and sells, and we also dollar weight the flow. So with traditional option flow, the volume is just the number of contracts that are transacted. So a contract that was bought for 10 cents, it counts as the same volume as a contract that was bought for $10. Whereas with Net Option Flow, we weigh the latter 1,000 times more heavily because there's 1,000 times more dollars flowing into that position. And we're also taking the net of all option positions. So we are deducting buys and sells from each other. So that's what Net Option Flow is. And then this green line is Net Option Flow Accumulation. And so this just shows whether or not there are more dollars flowing into bullish or bearish positions for the day. And so if it's above the 0 line, that means there's more dollars flowing into bullish positions. And when it gets below the 0 line, that means there are more dollars flowing into bearish positions. Any questions on Net Option Flow? Net Option Flow is like I said, it's in beta and we've had it out for maybe about a month and a half now, and it's my favorite indicator. It's just, as you can see, it's really easy to use. And so for what I look for when I'm trading, because I am a very conservative trader, I would say I probably trade the least out of, other big short users. But my win rate is quite high. And so what I'm looking for when it comes to my entries is I like to look for a confluence across the indicators, meaning that they're all, pointing in the same direction, or they're at least not conflicting with each other. And so here, for example, we had bearish SmartFlow here with this bearish divergence of this red line moving up and this green line moving down. We had bearish net option flow with net puts being bought. And we even had a little bit of bearish manipulation. And so this would be a good short setup for me. And as for an exit signal, like my normal holding time is somewhere between 5 to 20 minutes, just because my trading psychology is one where I'm very risk averse. So I'm always fighting to stay in a position. It's really hard for me to keep holding. But in theory, I try to tell myself to hold a position for as long as the signals continue to point in that direction. So here, for example, I did end up taking a short here because there was just such good confluence between the signals. I mean, it was all just pointing down. But I think I only held for like 10 minutes. So I think I got in like here and then I got out like around here. I probably could have held longer until the signal started to flip bullish, which is probably right around here. We had a little bit of bullish net option flow. But what are you gonna do? I was happy with that trade. But yeah, for our newer users, highly recommend weighing net option flow above the other indicators. I think Tay said last week the way that he would value all the different indicators. One would just be price action. Two would be net option flow. And then I think you said 3 was SmartFlow and then 4 was manipulation. Is that right, Tay?
I said 3 was dark pool.
Oh, dark pools. Yeah, if we have dark pools. Yeah. But yeah, that is the SmartFlow chart. And that is what I look for when it comes to trading. So any questions on the SmartFlow chart? I'm just going back to today. So we can take a look at what net option flow was like today as well. We had some bullish net option flow here, bullish, a little bearish, and then switch back to bullish. And you can see this, the net option flow accumulation line moving up. Then we had a switch to bearish net option flow here with puts being bought and calls being sold. As you can see, we did go down after that. This is kind of bearish. And the next bar was red, and then it switched back to bullish. Let's see, this is bearish here with the purple pointing up and the blue pointing down. And we did get a little pullback here. This is bullish. And it went up. This is a little bullish, green bar. And then it starts to switch to pretty bearish right around here. And we did get a bit of a pullback today. And then here it switches from bearish to bullish right around the local bottom. And then we had a little.
Right about there. Right. What's that time frame? Yeah, that's when I knew my calls today were done. They were cooked, but it was small size.
Right around here. Oh, when you saw this.
I saw it and I was like, yep, my zero DTTs are done.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least you saw it and you were probably able to be like, oh, okay, better get out and lock in whatever I can.
No, I was getting it's fine. RIP. RIP.
Okay, yeah. Well,
CBS
I
is
mean,
gonna
at
save
least
me.
you knew it. You know, it was like it was a premonition, like
Well, see, that's what
car
I
accident
love
slow
about
mo.
the software. I'm really so personally, just some feedback. After a week, I would say after 10 days of using it, I'm at like level 2 of understanding. I'm at that like I really can see the flow of it now. So
Awesome. Yeah, I
and
know
it's
it's
reliable.
a lot of information, and it takes some commitment on your on the user's end to learn all of this. But yeah, I think once you learn the platform, uh, I think it's incredible myself. I always say if for any reason if BigShort were to shut down, that would be the end of my trading career because I can't imagine having to trade without
That's kind of how I feel
this.
now.
It would
Like,
be it sounds like madness. It sounds absolutely insane just driving blind. Um,
That's why it's up to everyone who is on this call to go get at least 2 new people to try out
yeah.
the BigShort.
that would be fantastic if you guys could. And if
Well,
you do, send me their email addresses so I can send you guys a little referral.
well, and
Hug.
I really want to do that, but I don't want to be like, hey, dude, you should do this thing. They're like, how's it work? I'm like, I don't know, but it's fucking awesome. You know, I don't want. So I'm waiting to get to that point where I'm like, I can, like, you know,
Yeah, for sure. Once you sort of have a grasp on things.
yeah.
And I do think that like teaching other people, that's a great way to learn too. So like, explaining the platform to other people has really helped me like wrap my head around everything, and it's helped my trading. Paul Berger has a question. Do you think you can take that? I gotta take a little.
Okay. Go over the meaning of the numbers on the sidebar, net put flow, net call flow, and what the values represent for SmartFlow tally, Momo tally. Are they dollar amounts, premium amounts, share trade, etc.? What's the last thing I'm a little confused? They're all dollars. They're all dollars, Paul. The tallies are dollars, and the bars that comprise SmartFlow are dollars. And the numbers on the right side with the dollar sign in front of them are also dollars.
Cool. Okay, great. Well, if there are no more questions on SmartFlow, I'm gonna just kind of go through the rest of our platform, and hopefully I'll have enough time to touch on Honey Badger Days as well.
You should just blaze through so we could take some questions. I'm sure they got some
Okay.
questions.
Okay, I will blaze. So this is UltraFlow. UltraFlow is the aggregate of every individual constituent of the S&P 500. So this top pane here is just the SPY candlesticks, but SmartFlow manipulation and Net Option Flow is a combination of all 500 tickers that comprise the S&P 500. And so, it's interesting sometimes to take a look and see, okay, what is SPY, the ETF doing versus, everything that comprises SPY. And next we have.
And on UltraFlow, we have our brand new feature called Sim Search, which isn't up today because Andy's on some meds or something. But tomorrow it'll be up and then everyone can use it.
Oh, I can't wait to trade on Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Actually, you guys are gonna have to wait until Monday.
Holy shit, man. BigShort can get me in the market? Let's really rob that bank, Tay.
So next we have OptionFlow. OptionFlow shows all of the OptionFlow data. So a lot of our competitors like Unusual Whales and Flow Algo, this is sort of their offering. And we have a lot of users that come over from there. So we decided to create a kind of familiar view for them as they're onboarding onto our platform. You can search by, again, any ticker and, oh, that's not a ticker, any ticker and by any date. And you can also choose to see just the premium sweeps as well. Oh, we didn't get any on SPY today. But yeah, the premium sweeps show up here as well. But I highly recommend, instead of going on this on OptionFlow, to just have the option details pane open if you want to see that unusual OptionFlow data because it'll show all of the same option flow in real time, and you'll get this consolidated view with the SmartFlow chart. Next, we have Spodin. Spodin is our internal alert system that's closed system. We highly recommend never having a limit order or an open stop loss order on your account. It just gives market makers more, clarity into your positioning and your plans through payment for order flow. So if you have a price target, we recommend you just set a Spodin. It's super easy to set. You just need to type in the ticker and what the price target is, type in a message for yourself, decide whether you want it to call or text you or both, and add the alert. And then as long as your phone number is saved in the upper right-hand corner, once that price is hit, you will get a call and a text. Next, we have short squeeze. So this is where you can see whether or not the next day is a honey badger day. The honey badger signal is our back-tested and forward tested 90% win rate signal. And what it means is like here, for example, this is considered a honey badger day. And so if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see that honey badger all is 64.87 and honey badger SP 500 is 62.62. We're looking for those values to be both over 60 for it to be a honey badger day. And the greater that value, the stronger the honey badger day is. And so what a honey badger day means is that there's increased shorting in the market. And because of that increased shorting, it actually creates bullish pressure because all of those shorts need to buy in order to cover their positions. And so that bullish pressure tends to present itself in the latter half of the trading day. So if we look here, the honey badger signal came out on April 10th, which means that April 11th is the honey badger day. So let's just quickly go to April 11th to see what that looks like. So honey badger day is considered successful if we hit either the current day's the current day's open price or the previous day's close price, whichever is lower, within the last 2 hours of trading. And honey badger days are typically U-shaped, meaning that there's some early morning weakness followed by a late day rally. And again, it has a 90% win rate. So these are one of my favorite days to trade. The way that I trade honey badger days is I just time my entries based on reading the SmartFlow chart and, knowing that there is this sort of, bullish pressure that will create this rally coming up. So on this honey badger day, I did trade this one. We can see that we have bearish net option flow and a little bearish manipulation. So I waited to get into my calls. And again, we had more bearish net option flow here and a little bit of red on SmartFlow. So continue to wait. And then right around here, net option flow switched from bearish to bullish with calls being bought and puts being sold. And so I entered my calls in these like 2 candles. And then I ended up selling right around here when we were back at the open. I sold most of my position and then I kept a few runners because I knew that we tended to have this kind of outsized rally when it comes to a honey badger day, and told myself I would hold till the last hour of trading or so, but I think I only got to like here before I exited everything. But as you can see, this was a great trading day for me and for our users. And one thing that I like to flag is normally I'll buy like 2 or 3 DTE options, but on a honey badger day, I tend to buy farther out, like 2 weeks out. And the reason for that is honey badger days, again, they have that 90% win rate, but on the off chance that it is that 10% losing day, I've noticed that more often than not, we'll see that bullish pressure on the following day. So just on the 10% chance that I have to hold until the next day, I like to buy my options farther out. But honey badger days, again, they're my favorite days to trade. And we get really excited when we see them. And you can just look here. The honey badger day signal comes out every day between 6 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And again, it'll tell you if the following day is a honey badger day. So you just need to check this short squeeze pane every day around that time. But when we notice it's a honey badger day, we'll also call it out in the Discord, like member trades channel as well.
Yeah, you're not gonna miss it.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll know.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of excitement for sure. And then next we have short volume. We show long and short volume for every ticker.
We got 15 minutes left, Sarah,
Okay,
before
okay.
you gotta go.
Long and short volume. If you want to try to find tradable patterns in here, feel free. I never look at this. And then we have our blog and our help section. And I've already mentioned joining the members only Discord channel. So that is it.
The blog is important because you can learn more about honey badger days and NOF in the blog.
Yeah, I know we went a bit fast, but you can read about honey badger days on this post. And
okay, question
Net
time
Option
for
Flow
15 minutes, 14 minutes now, question time.
Okay.
Okay, I'll ask a question. Sarah, so you trade SPY every day, and you say you like to see the confluence between all the indicators. So would you say how many trades a day do you take? One maybe, or do you even trade every day?
It depends on the day. Sometimes I'll take multiple, and sometimes if I don't see that confluence, I won't take any. And also I'm one of 3 people here at BigShort. So there are times when I'm in a meeting or something and I look back and I'm like, God dang it, I missed something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends on the way the chart looks and whether or not I'm lucky enough to be able to be looking at the charts. But I do always like to have my chart open on one monitor with my sound alerts on, so that at least when we get these things, I can go back and check the chart and see if we get a good setup.
There's people that trade every day and make money though. Like I think
I've seen Political Nightmare. He's fun to watch.
Oh, Political Nightmare trades so much, so many tickers too.
He's here with us today, and so is Reese. Reese trades SPY exclusively every day.
Oh, Reese, hi. Yeah, Reese and I are both SPY lovers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm noticing it's pretty predictable with SPY. I kind of started noticing that in the last couple of weeks. So I started to switch to playing options.
Yeah, Reese texts me her gains every day. Like she made $1,000 today and a few $100 yesterday and blah blah blah.
Oh, while we're on here,
but
if you guys wouldn't mind sharing your profits on this channel, that would be super helpful. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. Any more questions?
Yeah, any questions from the newbies? Let's prioritize the newbie questions.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tay, I'm going to ask you this now here because you haven't been able to respond to me in the Discord, which is fine because I know you got probably thousands of messages every day coming in. But as
I don't really check my DMs, but if you add me in the member channel, then I'll respond. I'd be surprised if you added me and I didn't respond, but sorry if I didn't.
No worries. You're busy. I get it. So I'm not a new trader. I've been trading pretty much Ross Cameron from Warrior Trading's strategy, $2 to $20 small cap stocks, looking for momentum day trading. A lot of what I see here and what I read is, high, is going to be, high dollar stocks trading. NOF's got a lot of the big tickers, SPY, QQQ. Those are out of my price range unless I'm willing to make 50 cents a day, which is not worth my time doing it. So, as a person who's not got a lot of money to trade with, I'm willing to be patient and build up to it. I mean, it's difficult. It seems like trying to, outwit smart money. So this is an amazing platform, but I'm trying to figure out how to make this work for me. Do I need to change my strategy? What do I need to do to be more successful? Because it seems like these chart patterns you know, the SPY is a whole lot easier to trade than the small cap stocks with the indicators that are on Big Short. So what is your recommendation for somebody in my spot to be successful?
Well, the price of a stock doesn't really affect its affordability as an instrument to trade. I mean, I guess unless you really have like a three-figure account or something, which I imagine you don't. But we have people with only like $8,000 accounts trading futures and stuff for SPX, which is the same thing as SPY pretty much. We also have people trading options. I think you need at least 25K to trade options. But I mean like the people who trade options, like they're still, you could still like make $1,000 off of $25,000 in one day easily.
I've been doing it at 10K every day. So
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just seems like that's almost impossible from where I'm sitting to do that. Not having the money, but to be able to get to that level. I mean, it's just out of my range because I'm used to doing one thing. So I don't really know much about
Do you,
options. I've never traded options. I've never read about trading options.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, I mean, options are a lot better than common. Yeah, common is slow. And if you are trying to make money with common, like yeah, like you make money a lot faster trading SPY options than you do common for the, but the between the $2 and $20 stocks that you were talking about. And the the thing is, when you're limiting yourself to those cheap stocks, those low like share price stocks, then you kind of chase a lot of unnecessary risk. Whereas with something like SPY, you can make more money with a higher probability setup than you can like chasing like 100% gains on like it, making 100% gains on SPY in a day is not that hard. It's pretty easy. But making 100% gains on common shares for any stock is pretty difficult. Like you'd have to catch one hell of a trend to make 100% on common. I mean, like it happens all the time with penny stocks and stuff, but for me, I just think that's an unnecessary amount of risk. And to be fair, I've never really I don't really know that much about warrior trading, but from what I hear, they're a scam. Um, I that's just what I hear. I've never used their product before, so I don't know. But generally speaking, the people that sell courses are scammers. So their advice is something you might want to take with a grain of salt.
Nice.
I would encourage you to learn about options and futures and all that. It's a much, well, especially, I mean, for me, options. Like, do you have at least 30K in your account?
No, I do not. No. I'm
Okay.
I'm I'm like I'm gonna be at about 10,000 until I do better with my trading.
Okay, well, in that case, I would suggest that you practice on chartgame.com to learn some of the basics. Um, I can't in good conscience recommend someone with a $10,000 account to pay for Big Short because Big Short is kind of expensive relative to a $10,000 account. However, be that as it may, even though I warn people to not do that, there are plenty of people that use Big Short with $10,000 accounts who make money regularly. But
I
especially
use
if you're
5,000.
Yeah.
you do? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
dude,
Okay.
I do $500 zero DTE same day expiration spies, and like
Isn't there
yeah,
like a pattern day trader thing
well,
or
not with
maybe if you're
SPA. So he
oh
needs to get on
SPX.
Webull, yeah, and
Mhm.
then so the way I do it is I do bets of $500, and because it's cash based, so you have five cards to play at $500 a hand. Get in, get out. You can do that 5 times.
Hmm. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
I think this is day trader, day trade dreamer, right?
Sarah,
I think it's Brian. Or
Yeah,
there's
the guy that asked the question. I know we only have a couple minutes left, but if you do decide to try options, I just recommend, starting off really, really small as you get yourself, acclimated, and chartgame.com is a great recommendation as well.
I'm not here to sell a dream. Like trading is hard and it takes practice and study to get better. So with a $10,000 account, I mean, yeah, I mean you heard from Bobby just now, like but there definitely are people who make money regularly using our platform, but I can't in good conscience say it's definitely the right choice for you as a new trader.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Sorry, we
I
have
appreciate
5 minutes left. Are there any other questions?
I think Brian was about to say something.
Oh, Brian, sorry.
No,
My
I was just
sound's a
saying
little
thank
off.
you for that. I mean, I have other questions, but I'll let somebody else get in if they want to. I don't need to take up the whole time.
Roger, Shahab, anybody?
Let's see. So
All right, second question from Brian. Let's go.
Okay, so and maybe just because what you said, Tay, like Paul here in the chat saying I only keep 10K in my cash account and I've been making at the very least $500 a day. This is what
this is
so
Paul
That-
with the swag.
yeah, that is definitely what he does. I mean, he posts his
okay,
profit,
well,
so he's not lying.
talk more about what Paul's doing because it sounds like I need to be Paul.
I've been scalping the shit out of options, and it's just been working fabulously from the NOFA charts for me and the unusual options that come through the option feed.
This is Roger. I was curious how you were doing the scalping. You're not doing it on SPY, you're doing it on specific stocks.
I only play tickers. I don't run SPY. Although I want to, I'm very interested in it. The day is coming where I will try my hand at it. But no, I have a massive watch list of tickers that every night I go through and see, what I think is trending up or about to reverse or any idea, and then I'll scroll through them in the morning. And usually the first 10 or 15 minutes of the day is when a ton of unusual options start rolling through the option feed, and you can hone in on one of them and make put some at least 3K down on 4, 5, 6 options, and then just ride it out for the next 10 minutes. And usually I'll make $300-400 right then and there. But and then the rest of the day I just kind of a little bit more picky about what I'm playing. But I've been a swing trader forever, so like I always look at the technicals on the weekly and the daily and see what is exhausted on the top of the on the top end with the RSI and the MACD and all that good stuff. And I think it's about to reverse down. Then I'll watch daily on BigShort for any unusual option activity coming through or manipulation bars, things like that, to try to time and confirm a reversal. And if I think that that's going to happen based on the NOFA indicators and the manipulation bars or smart tally or smart bars or anything like that, then I'll jump in. And so before, like swing trading, I've been able to time it pretty good, but now I've been able to time it to like the particular day that it's going to turn around. Usually something's about to turn around on a swing. It might range for a few days before it jumps, but now watching these tickers in BigShort, I can look for those unusual option activity and stuff like that to come through, and I know that's when it's about to start to move. But I did that with PayPal. I've made some really good money on this week, and I made like $800, almost. What did I make? I made like $750 on coin, just buying 3 options yesterday with a unusual option that came through. Somebody spent like $62 million on premiums for calls, and I made money there. So, I mean, this is definitely an awesome tool. But I would definitely go learn what options are, puts and calls, and how they work before you start scalping options.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks
100%.
for the input, Paul. Yeah, Paul's
Yeah,
Paul's
thank you,
legit, and
Paul.
I'm glad
And
he makes the app look good. But
yeah, it's crazy because I remember, Paul, we did our walkthrough like less than a month ago, and you were like, "Yeah, I don't really day trade. I don't know if this will be for me." And now
I never did before until
smashing
I
it.
started using the platform. I was just always well shit, I'll buy some leaps on this, or I'll buy some leap puts on this, and then I'll just wait for the swing to reverse. But now just following the NOFA. Like, yeah, it's great to have an options feed. Anybody could use like Cheddar or FlowAlgo or whatever, but that in no way compares to your platform where you can actually see this overlaid on the charts and get the whole story of what's happening at the same time. So, I mean, it's like perfect for entries and exits. I mean, yeah. So I've been having a good time. So.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah,
Thank you.
we're so glad to have you. It's for users like you that keep us going, and yeah. So
100%.
so yeah, Brian, I think that answers your question. Sounds like you do need to brush up on some of the basics of options trading, but I do think that I think that trading options on safe, low volatility stuff is a lot better of an experience than trading penny stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a better risk to reward ratio, and you heard it from Paul. He makes a living off that shit apparently with a $10,000
I'd be
account.
happy if I just make $200 a day.
It's actually very doable even with a 5K account, but I would say especially if you're new, don't hold more options in multiple tickers. Focus on one thing at a time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah,
need to get with you, Paul. You need to give me some help.
If you join the Discord, I'm always available to answer any questions or help anybody.
Yeah,
So,
and it looked like there's going to be some kind of a group meetup on Wednesday with like Darren and Paul and a bunch of other people. So that's
Wish I
super
didn't have to
cute.
work for a living. This is what I've been doing for the last 2 years. I thought I'd be way further ahead by now. And now I feel like I need to start all over again with something different, which is very difficult to do. But if it's got a better risk to reward ratio, that's I'm willing to step back from the way I've been doing things and make it work.
Brian, I will tell you one thing. Big Short is lacking in many ways where we're not the best. We're not that fleshed out in our tutorials and our teaching and our support and our onboarding and all that stuff. But I will tell you one thing is we are definitely not a scam. And I will put my name on that because I'm not in the business of scamming anybody. This is an actual real edge that you can use to make money in the market.
Oh,
And I'm proud
I
of
can
that.
see it. I can
Yeah.
see it. If I had the money to trade SPY, like probably, most people do who use Big Short, yeah, I can see how you could, make some money, pretty easily by just using those indicators because they seem to work a lot better on those stocks. But, I can't buy 10 shares a day, I'm going to be stuck at my desk job for the rest of my life. So that's just not going to work.
Yeah, SPY options is what you're looking for. Anyways, Sarah and I had got to go. 3:30 hard stop. You
All
guys are free to
right.
hang out here. So yeah. Bye guys.
All right,
So much.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a
Bye.
good one.
All right,
Stay
bye.
Thank you so much for joining, guys. And yeah, just be sure to join the members only Discord. And I will say our support is very good. We're very responsive. So if you ever have questions, just reach out to me, Tay, Andy, or the support email. Okay, bye guys.
Take care.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Paul, I'd like to learn more about, your experience with that.
Hey, I wanted to
yeah.
I wanted to chime in as well. I was trading just like you were.